Hey everybody, welcome to the Elder of Rock. I am Stephen Elder, and today we're going to talk about Ozzy Osbourne. As I am recording this, this is the day that we have just learned of his passing. He had just done his final concert, and as I heard somebody say on the radio, it was like he was able to attend his own funeral. Everybody's showing love for him, how it would have been if there would have been like a tribute concert without him. But anyway, but so that was really cool. But what I thought, so from that perspective, there live, performances and stuff, I thought I'd just go over. I have some ticket stubs here to when I've seen Ozzy. I don't have every ticket stub, so I don't have every concert. I've seen a lot though. Ozzy is the artist that I've seen the most in concert. I've seen him just a bunch of times, and we're going to go over this here. So what I'm going to do now is briefly go into the concerts I've seen with him. Of course, I knew of Ozzy with Black Sabbath. I was a Black Sabbath fan, before that, and so then we went solo, and I'll never forget hearing "Crazy Train" for the first time on the radio. This is a new Ozzy Osbourne track, and just being amazed, and of course Randy Rhoads and all that. But so the first time I ever saw Ozzy, and I don't have the ticket for this, but I do have the ad. I did have the ticket. I don't know whatever happened to it. I don't know why, but I do have this ad that I cut out of our local newspaper. I believe it was either the Journal Herald or the Dayton Daily News that had this ad for Ozzy Osbourne. And of course, you could see the special guest was Motorhead, and tickets were only $7 in advance. And I probably got a concert shirt for like, I don't know, around that amount of money. Um, and of course, I don't have that shirt anymore. I mean, this is sort of what it was like, but this is you know, I couldn't have fit into the other one anyway. So, but anyway, this was really cool. This was Ozzy. First time I saw him, of course, he had Rudy Sarzo, Tommy Aldridge in the band. Randy Rhoads, of course, blew us away. And I do have this. I did get a tour program as well from that show, um, and of course, it's all beat up. And being the kid I was and the teenager I was, I had no care for if it was going to be worth money someday and keeping it in great shape, because I just wanted to put that up on my wall. All the cool pictures anyway. There's some cool stuff there. There's Ozzy. Little thing he said. I like the thing he says at the end here. It says, I have started a new hobby of skydiving, but I haven't quite reached the clouds yet. A little brief history of Ozzy there. Get some photos. Hold that up for you. Um, Photos. Oh, these are all still double sided. Whoops. Yeah, some photos. Did I do that double sided? That no. Yeah, there's that double side covering it up there. Oh, what was this? Oh yeah, and there's that. Yeah, okay. So sorry, these are double sided. I forget. There you go. And then that on it right there. So what am I doing here? Got that. Um, and one time, and I was in a band, and I must have been channeling Ozzy or something, because uh, there's a photo of me doing this exact photo for uh, pose for a photo of a band I was in. There's some funny little things, pictures. You guys have some funny things on these pictures here. Me trying to do sex change or something. Let's see. There's some pretty funny ones. So it's always, it shows that he had a sense of humor. Never lost it. So yeah. Um, Tommy Aldridge. Cool photo of Ozzy. There's a thing there. Kind of dapping. Ruby Sarzo, of course. Rose. All right. So there you go. Yeah, so that was from the first show I ever saw of Ozzy, pretty early in my concert going years, and it was a really great show. What can I say? Blown away by Randy Rhoads, drum solo, Tommy Aldridge playing with his hands. and Motorhead opening up. I never forget standing there and they're doing. I get it was Overkill. I know now that it was probably Overkill when the double bass coming through the speakers felt like it was going to pop out of my chest. So there you go. So that was of course the Blizzard of Oz tour. So then the next time I saw him was, of course, he put out Diary of a Madman, 1982 ish, and so I got to see him at Riverfront Coliseum. Um, and the date on this is February 17th, 1982. This is approximately a month before Randy Rhoads unfortunately died. And that was a cool show. It was a Diary of a Madman show. Of course, you got the big castle. You got, just everything. It was cool. And there was this thing around Ozzy, this mystique around Ozzy, very like bizarre. I think he had done the bat thing by then. And so there was this whole thing surrounding that. And I remember going to that show, and that's the first time I saw people at a concert. I remember this is early on in my concert going years, and I remember that's the first time I saw like in some kind of weird makeup. Like I remember seeing a couple people like in kind of ghoulish makeup. I don't know. I never, wow, kind of wild. Uh, Walking into the show at Cincinnati. Cincinnati was to me a big city, being from where I was, Dayton. But anyway, yeah. So that was Diary of a Madman. That show. Anyway, and also the one I saw, the first show I saw of his was pretty much the tribute show. If you've got the tribute album, other than he didn't do Goodbye to Romance and No Bone Movies, which is on there, but the tribute show, the whole, I think the first three sides of that, these are the album days. That's what the show I saw. But anyway, also what was cool is that a little bit later at a record show at Hera Arena, they had record collectors convention and stuff, and people selling stuff. And the guy there had pictures from the show I saw in Cincinnati. So this is Randy Rhoads from that show. Pretty cool. And then this is Ozzy from that show. So pretty cool. So, and then at that time also, now this is, and then I can't remember when I got this ticket, but I remember I had to go. Ozzy was coming to Dayton for Diary of a Madman, and I don't remember if I got the show before or after. I might have been before Randy died, but anyway, the show was originally scheduled for May 6th, but then it got moved to May 26th, which is why I put the two there. So, just from my own personal thing, so I remembered that. But this was the same show I saw in Cincinnati, but Brad Gillis on guitar, of course, and really cool. I don't remember who was the opening act for that, and I don't remember. In Cincinnati, the opening act was Starfighters. UFO was supposed to play that show, but they didn't. They didn't, for some reason. They didn't do that show. But Starfighters, which had Malcolm and Angus's younger brother, his brother Steve Young, I think, was in that band. I guess I don't really remember much about them. There's just they played in that. Everybody's saying how much the guitar player did look like Malcolm Young. So anyway, so there you go. So yeah, this was pretty much the same show, but I had I was on the floor for this one. Cincinnati had like reserve seating, and so it was I remember sitting a little bit far back. It was cool. I got to see the whole view of the show, the stage, but um, but at the Hare Arena, I was able to see on the floor, and it was cool, and got to see a bit of closer up of things, and it was really cool. I liked it. Good, of course. We were all kind of mourning Randy also, but it was cool that Ozzy was back out there and kind of helping us get through that. So anyway, so that was May 26th, and then the next time I saw Ozzy would be on the Bark at the Moon tour. This would be May 31st, 1984. Bark at the Moon. Of course, he was back at Jakey Lee on guitar. Bob Daisley was on bass. Tommy Aldridge was on drums, back on drums for that. And again, great show. All excited that he had the new album out, Bark at the Moon. Excited to see this new guitar player. excited to see this new guitar player, Jakey Lee, who was great. And the opening act for that evening was Accept, and they were good. Of course, I was an Accept fan, so I was excited to see them opening for Ozzy. I believe this was Balls. This had to have been Balls to the Wall, yeah. And so, quick thing about that show is that then after that show, I can't remember if we were at the restaurant or we were driving by the restaurant and we saw the bus. But either way, I met Accept at the Perkins in Dayton, Ohio. Um, they were there, and I got the autograph. I guess this is like Peter Baltz autograph, the bass player. They were all really cool dudes, except for they were kind of silent. Now I don't know if that was because either they didn't know English that well at the time, or some of them didn't know English as well as, or if they just wanted to eat and they just wanted us to shut the fuck up and get out of there. So anyway, but they were nice. But so yeah, so that's that one. Uh, cool show. And then the next one is going to be at the Riverbend Music Center. I'm sorry, July 24th, 1986. This is the Ultimate Sin Tour. This was a great because it was an outdoor facility, so it was an outdoor show in the middle of the summer. It was great. I remember I went with my friend Jay Grant. We're driving to Cincinnati from Dayton. It was like about an hour or so drive, and going there. And of course, the opening act we were also there to see was Metallica, who was there for their Master of Puppets tour. And that was really cool seeing them. I'd seen them previously on the Ride the Lightning tour, but it was in a club, and that was cool too. But this cool seeing them on a big stage. Cool seeing Cliff Burton, of course. And then Ozzy was great. Comes out, and he's just awesome. Ultimate Sin, Jakey Lee, Randy Castillo on drums, and Phil Soussan on bass. And it was a great show. And no complaints. I mean, just awesome show. Ozzy always put on a great show. So then, now I didn't see him on the. Wow, was it really that long? I didn't see the No Rest for the Wicked show. I didn't see that tour. That was the one show. I don't know if he just didn't come to Dayton or whatever, so I didn't see that show. All right, yeah. So then the next time I saw him was, I guess, was going to be August 16th, 1992. This is it was in Orlando. I moved to Orlando by then. And so I got to go see this show. This was, of course, his retirement show as well. He was saying that he was going to hang it up then. No more tours, as what it was, as it was billed as. And so it was really cool. Then thought we were saying goodbye to him. And so he was up there saying, "I'm going to miss you guys," and all that. I don't remember who the opening act was for sure for that show. I can't remember. Uh, but it was a great show. Of course, the first time I saw Zach Wilde, and that was cool. And then it was still Randy Castillo on drums and Mike Inez on bass. And it was, Zach was great, and just a very cool show. Again, I'm sorry I don't remember these well, but I got the olds, and this has been 30 years now for these. 30 years, man. Anyway, so the next show I saw of Ozzy's was at again at the Orlando Arena, 1996. Now this was be his retirement sucks tour. He came out of retirement, started touring again. I remember this was a bill. I think this might have had Rollins band. I remember that. I remember there being a lot of bands on it. It was like 4 bands. I Hate God, uh, Rollins band. I don't know. I can't remember. Man, it was. But anyway, there's. So yeah, and this had Joe Holmes on guitar. Might have been Mike Borden on drums, I believe he had on that time, and on bass was probably Robert Trujillo. And great band. You always had a great band. Joe Holmes, one of the underrated guitarists of Ozzy. He I don't think, unfortunately, never got to record with him, but he did get some writing credits on some stuff. It would have been cool to have him do a studio album, I think, because he was pretty good. He was a good guitar player, and he's got some solo stuff out now. Now, I did go see some Ozfest in between there and then there, and I saw um, an Ozfest where it was Ozzy. He did a solo set, and then he did a set with Black Sabbath. But at that time, it wasn't really the original Black Sabbath yet. It was Bill had some health issues, so it was Ozzy did a solo set, and then Ozzy came on with Black Sabbath, but it was Mike Borden drumming, and he did a great job. I mean, and um, no, I mean, yeah, it wasn't Bill Ward, but he was good. He knew how to do it. And that was great seeing and that was everybody excited finally seeing Ozzy with Black Sabbath again. Um, and I just remember when the first I think the first song they did might have been Black Sabbath. That just was so cool, and there's like these torches on stage and stuff. And then I think the next year I did see an actual Black Sabbath with Bill Ward at Ozfest again. Um, it might have been that, I can't remember, but anyway. And then I guess here, then I have my next ticket here is for Ozfest 2005, and this is Ozzy. Yeah, and Choni put on a good show. I mean, this is great. I think Pantera, one of these Pantera was a band on it, and that was great too. But anyway, Ozzy, it was just so cool. This is, I mean, he's still out there, still rocking, and just great show. I believe Zach was back on guitar here. Might have been Borden and Trujillo, though I'm not positive on that. But anyway, I know Ozzy always put on a great show. I just remember him coming out with the big hoses and squirting everybody down, and just it was just always great. And he you just always felt like you were part of the show. He was so happy for you to be there. Anyway, so that's that one. Um, and then this one actually is kind of a cheat because, um, oh yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, okay. This is kind of a cheat. I just thought of something, but it doesn't matter because he was supposed to play on this one, but didn't play. He was sick or something, so he didn't get to play. But I was able to meet Zach Wild. We had a friend that knew I don't know, somehow record person or something, and got us back, and we got to hang with Zach for a little bit on his bus. And this is in his drinking days, and this is in my drinking days. So the beers were flowing, and it was awesome. All right, so the last one I have here is the last time I saw it was Black Sabbath. This is the 13 tour. I don't know. Was this is yeah, this is 13, 29th, 2013. So it wasn't the end tour. I always get that time period, but this is 2013. Um, and it was great seeing Ozzy with Sabbath. Tommy Kufletos on drums did an admirable job. Admiral. He did a job like an admiral. What can I say? Admirable job. Um, and it was great. But yeah, I remember Ozzy didn't sound the best that night, but he still still great. See Sabbath go. They did some songs I didn't expect them to play, like Under the Sun, and so it was great seeing them out there again and on what was their last time touring together. And fortunately, it wasn't the last time they all got to play together since they got the last concert. So anyway, so there you go. Just a few of my memories there. I hope it's cool. A lot of great fun, Ozzy. Thank you. You gave it more than you probably needed to, but we thank you anyway. And now you can rest in peace. Thank you for watching The Elder of Rock. I'm Stephen Elder. See you next time.